Hi FlossTube, my name is Shelly and this is my very first FlossTube video. A little bit about myself. I am a Louisiana native, a Cajun girl who has been in the northwest corner of Alabama in an area called the Shoals for the last 17, 18, 19, it'll be 19 years this fall. Where does the time go? I don't know. But I am married and I have two grown daughters, two grandsons. The oldest, Nathan, is 11 and the youngest, Malachi, is about to turn 7 next week. So we'll be having his birthday party this weekend. We actually have my husband's wife and her husband are traveling home to Maryland from Louisiana, and they are going to stop in Alabama on the way home. And so we'll have them in this weekend. So we're excited about that. It's been a little while since we've seen them. And while they're here, we will have Malachi's birthday party, and he wants a costume party. So that should be a lot of fun. But anyway, I am predominantly a quilter. I've been quilting since a little bit before we moved up here, so about 20 years now. I did cross stitch back before I quilted. In fact, my very first quilt was made of cross stitch blocks of teddy bears, and I don't remember how many blocks there were, but I did the blocks, sashed them, and I didn't know anything about quilting whatsoever. But I mean, I learned, what I needed to do just to make it a rudimentary quilt, just tied it together. And I gifted that to a friend's newborn son. And in the last couple of years, he has gotten married and now he's started his family. So I've made quilts for his baby and then his stepdaughter. And so that was a little bit of a full circle moment. And then he just had another baby, and this quilt on the wall behind me, which is from Fat Quarter Shop's Sew Sampler box, that's going to be Miss Imogene's quilt. So I'm hoping to have that done and ready to give when we go back home to Louisiana for Christmas. So anyway, in my quilting world life, I follow Kimberly and the Fat Quarter Shop and their live streams, and she has rediscovered cross stitch this year, and so I rediscovered cross stitch this year, and just kind of amazed at the way people finish cross stitch these days. Of course, some people still, frame them, and some projects, that's what they need. But I just love all the creative finishes, especially one of my favorite FlossTubers to follow, the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, Priscilla and Chelsea. I love watching them. I just love their relationship, mother-daughter relationship. And Priscilla's finishes are just amazing. So that kind of it stoked the fire and made me want to get back in. Years ago when I cross-stitched, I worked on a project for a friend, and I don't even know what this material is, honestly. I mean, I always just followed exactly what the pattern said and, didn't stray from it at all. But this is, I guess, a smaller count, and it really destroyed my eyesight. Like, it made my eyesight worsen. So I put cross stitch away. And so this is what I was working on for my friend. She my grandmother had this picture in her house, and my friend is just one of her favorite pictures. So now that I'm back to cross stitching, I will finish that because now I know about magnification and adequate lighting. These old eyes really need it. Speaking of that, I had bought a couple of like tabletop and clip-on lights from Bright Tech, and love them. They're great. And then I had some other like LED daylight lamps that I was using, you know, as well, that don't have magnifiers for my quilting. But I always had like, it was just tabletop, so I was shining it from one side or the other, and so there was, you know, depending on where my hands were placed while I was quilting, there was always a shadow. And I do a lot of my hand quilting when we're watching television in the evening, you know, so there's no daylight light. So one of the FlossTubers that I follow, Stitch Roadies, not sure, but look her up. She's fantastic and just a hoot, and she makes me laugh every time I watch her. So, but she gave a sort of review of the light that's behind me. It's the and of course I'm not gonna know what it is, but it's a Bright Tech light. You can get them on Amazon. It's a 2-in-1, so it can either be tabletop or floor. I happen to share on Instagram one of my other Bright Tech lights, and they gave me you get a coupon if you share about their product on Instagram. So I had a $20 off coupon, and then it qualified me for free shipping. So I got it, and it came in this week, and I love it because, like I said, you know, when I don't need the magnification, when I'm hand quilting, and I don't want that shadow because the light's coming from one direction or the other, this one I set it on the floor next to my chair, my stitching chair. Where I have it right now is not where it goes, but I just wanted it for this video. It's overhead, so it's like right down, shining the light down, and there's no shadow at all when I'm stitching. So, love that. Then when I need the magnification, it has it, and I can just bring it down. You know, it's like almost like a robotic arm. You can just bring it down and, you know, have the magnification, but it's very bright, very nice. It's adjustable. You can, you know, adjust the brightness of it. That's what I'm trying to say. So right now in my life, I'm all about finishing a project that I want to hang in a quilt show that our local guild here in Rogersville is having later this month. It is actually, I have the information right here so I can share it with you. If you're anywhere in, you know, northern Alabama, southern middle Tennessee, and you like quilts, this is a free event. It is going to be on Saturday, October 19th, 2017 from 9:30 to 4. It's put on by our local guild, East Lauderdale Quilters. It's at the Rogersville United Methodist Church Discipleship Center, which is at 51 Turner Lindsay Road on the corner of Lee Street. And we'll have a quilt show. Of course, we'll have We'll have a trunk show. We'll have some demos. I will actually be doing one of the demos. I'm kind of a organization planning freak. I like doing the planning. I'm not necessarily the best at carrying the plans out. But anyway, I'm doing one on how to plan and organize a quilt project. And I will have three full-size quilts hanging, and some wall hangings as well will be on display We also will have, I'll have a couple of my grandmother and aunt's quilts. They won't be part of the judgeable or votable. We don't have a judge. It's not judge show, but the public gets to vote on their favorites. But anyway, they will be hanging around the top of the venue just for people to look at and enjoy. So anyway, that's that. But so that's kind of taken over my stitching life. I haven't been doing a whole lot of cross stitch because I am trying to get a hand quilted project done. The last year or so I've been working on, I don't think I'm going to finish, it's probably like a 5-year project of making quilts for each of my siblings and my husband's siblings and our parents. So my mother-in-law has gotten hers. I've got one that I have the top pieced that will be for one of our siblings. And then I have one that I'm planning to give for Christmas. And I really wanted it to hang in a show. So since I won't, it's going to be in Louisiana. That might give it away. Hopefully they don't watch this because it's sort of like a surprise of who it's going to be for. Ugh, dang it. Anyway, because I'm gifting it for Christmas and I won't have it to hang in a show. We do it like every other year. I wanted to get it done hanging this one. So it's sort of taken over my stitching life right now. And let's see. This was a block of the month from Fat Quarter Shop with Adita Sitar of Laundry Basket Quilts. And I did the block of the month, bought, the whole kit and caboodle because I really love kits. I hate having to put fabrics together on my own. And so I love this. This is just, it's already done for me. The guesswork and the I don't know, the putting it all together and being aesthetically pleasing is already done for me. I've got the fabric already chosen and all you got to do is do the stitching, the cutting and the stitching. So let me see how I can get y'all to have a view of this. I won't be able to show the whole thing, but this is her Little Sweetheart fabric collection. And this was a pretty challenging make, but I learned a lot and I feel like I've seen improvement in my skills from making it, so that's a good thing. But anyway, that's taking most of my stitching time. If I'm on the road and can't really haul that around, then I have a little cross stitch project that I'm working on, and I can show you that right now. It is this project bag, the Love My Stitching project bag from Hands On Design and So Much to Love. And I'm stitching it on I don't remember the count, but it's Lugana. And I've really, other than that piece that I showed earlier that destroyed my eyesight, I've always stitched on Ada. So when this Lugana came in and I felt what it felt like, I was like, oh my goodness, it's so soft. But, so that's what I've got done so far. And in case you don't know, I'm a purple girl. You can see the little, behind me, the little, my little stitch buddy, Lila, who's purple. and got a lavender t-shirt on. This room, one day I'll do like a little tour, but this room, the paint that's on the walls was on the walls when we moved here. And one day I'll paint it, but it won't be green. It'll be pinks and purples, some combination thereof. So I'm changing the colors up on that project to be an assortment of pinks and purples because that's what I like. Okay. So my other most recent stitching is I'm a member of the Fat Quarter Shop Chalk Fold Club, and so I've been working on the chalk fold jars. I have the Boo one in, but of course I've been working on that quilt that I just showed, so I haven't even started it. It'll, it can't be a priority right now. I do have part of the small part of that. If you don't know, the chalk fold patterns come with a jar and then a small. So I got this done. And I was saying a while ago how I love the unique finishes that people these days are doing on the cross stitch. I love it, but I'm not very confident in being able to do it because I walk around Hobby Lobby and I go, I don't know. So I went there recently and walked around for, half an hour and I came out with this. So this I know will go on this, but beyond that, I have no idea. So whatever it is, what it is. I'm sure I will emulate someone else's finish. Of course, I'll love picking out the fabric for it, but anyway. Okay, so that's my whips. And here's another quilt that will be, actually, I guess, yeah, I think I counted this one. So I'll have the one that I showed, the Sew in Love block of the month. And I'm sorry I didn't grab it out of the closet, but I have a snowman that I finished a couple of years ago, snowman applique quilt that will hang in the show because it already had a sleeve on it and it was ready to go. And then this one is one that I started back in 2011 and just finished it in 2019. But it's called, the teacher at the class that I took at Patches and Stitches in Huntsville, Alabama, called it a two-color wonder. And I like pink and purple, so and I am predominantly a hand quilter. I don't find it relaxing or enjoyable at all to try to machine quilt a full-size quilt. I've tried several times when I've just felt like, oh, I don't have time to hand quilt this, and I just hate every minute of it. So, probably 3 years ago, I made a quilt for a friend, and hand quilted it traditional, traditional hand quilting. And right around that time, I was seeing a lot of posts and information on the internet about big stitch quilting. And when I got finished with that one that I made for my friend in the traditional way, I think I was doing a little mini for a swap we were having at a guild that I belonged to. And I did big stitch. And I decided that, and I hate to say never, but I'll never, unless the project just absolutely calls for traditional hand quilting, I won't do that anymore because it's several reasons really. The aesthetic of big stitch quilting, I love the texture that it adds. I just like it. And, my stitches are, when I did traditional, they weren't perfect. They aren't perfect now. I like to say they look like Morse code. Everybody says it doesn't matter how long they are as long as they're consistent. Mine aren't consistent. That's okay. I don't, finish is better than perfect. I'm a 95%er. So, anyway, this one and the other one that I showed, big stitch quilted. I just love the texture, the added dimension that it adds to it. And I know, traditional hand quilters, and honestly, if you tell me that this is not real quilting, I might punch you in the throat. But because I don't believe we should shame anybody who's taking the effort to create something, produce something, give back to, and even though this one's for me, I only have, I think I now own three full-size quilts that are completed, because I give a lot of mine away. But anyway, don't shame, don't judge, like the cross stitchers who say, oh, you stitch on Ada? Really? I'm not about that. So anyway, so that will hang in the show. I got that done a few weeks ago. Let's see. I also am a volunteer for Project Linus, which I'll put a link below if you're not familiar with them. We make blankets. Blankets for sick, hospitalized children. It can be a quilt, it could be a crocheted blanket, it can be a little receiving blanket that you just sewed, it could be the flannel blankets, fleece blankets, not flannel, fleece that are tied, the edges are tied together. But anyway, that's about the Project Linus stuff that I do is about the only quilting that I do on the machine. And I wasn't planning to show this, so it's buried and stuff. But this is something that I've been working on recently for Project Linus, although it's sort of on the back burner. Everything's on the back burner because of the Sew in Love one that I'm trying to get done before the 18th. But isn't that just the cutest thing ever? So there's the little girl one, and then there's a little boy one. And I did some big stitch quilting around the central motif, and then the rest of it I quilted on the machine. Because these are, even though I love hand quilting, those are small enough to go on the machine and not make me stressed or, lose my joy in my quilting life. But also I want to get them done so that, I can give them to someone who needs them. Okay, so a couple of little things on the hand quilting. Just little tools that I use. I'm always collecting, thimbles, trying to find the perfect thimble. And when I'm working on something like this, that it's like a deadline and I've got to, stitch every spare moment, fingers get sore. So I've tried this before. It's called Aunt Becky's. Aunt Becky's stitching tool, I think is the name of it. It just says Aunt Becky's on it. But it's for your, and you can see they look better now because I've been using this, but they still, they're like mangled and chewed up. So if I was not using this, and I tried using this before and could never get the hang of it, and on this one it was like I have to, because there's no way I will get it done, because I'll have to rest my fingers, because my fingers will be, sore and hurting, and I won't be able to stitch as fast and as much as I need to get this done. So recently picked it up, tried it again, and I don't think I'm using it like I'm supposed to use it, but that's okay. It's saving my fingers, and that's what matters. Project Linus does a annual challenge, mystery challenge quilt, and last year was my first time doing it. It was the first time I'd ever done a mystery challenge, and it was a lot of fun. Really had a lot of fun. So it's sort of a fundraiser. It's $15 to sign up, and you get the pattern, you get amazing video instruction. Seriously, if you're never quilted and you really would like to learn, it would be a great way to learn, because the lady that does it her name is Mary, and she does an excellent job. So I signed up this year, and they had they had like some giveaways when they were trying to get, the registrations up. So I won a charm square, a charm pack. And I didn't, she had like 2 choices of what you could win, and she didn't really ask us to say which one we wanted. So I was like, I liked both of them, but this is the one that I got. Isn't that just beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this year's theme for that challenge quilt is Logie Bear Leads the Way. She always names it after one of her grandchildren, and her grandson Logan is the inspiration this year. So I wasn't sure, like last year was sort of, you could just use scraps, but this year it's sort of like scraps aren't necessarily going to work. So I wasn't really sure what to do, what I was going to do. And I haven't started it, even though the clues have started. I haven't started it because I've been working on that one that I'm trying to get ready for the show. But our Quilt Guild had a yard sale in September, and these someone had on their table. And, these are not really, I'm not really into this style. But I thought with the Logie Bear Leads the Way, I'm thinking and it is, as they revealed the clues, it is rustic. Think, log cabin, not like log cabin quilt pattern, but log cabin house, that type of rusticness. So I think these will be perfect. I don't know what I'm going to use for the background, but I'll figure that out when it's time. So anyway, I picked these up off of one of my fellow guild members' yard sale table. And then another guild member had these, and I couldn't resist. It's not pink, but these are purple, and I love purple and green. Purple goes with anything, y'all. It's a neutral. And then another one of my guild member friends had this French General layer cake, and I love the snowman quilt that I was talking about earlier is made with French General fabrics. And so, I don't have any project in mind for these. I just wanted it. And this is my cross stitch haul. I love birds, especially bluebirds. So I picked this up at Fat Quarter Shop when they had a sale a while back on their cross stitch patterns. I believe they have a sale going on right now on their fall and Halloween, 20% off on their fall and Halloween charts. I'm not really a Halloween person, but I do love fall. And I would love to get the There's one that just came out by Hands On Designs, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name of it, but it's got pumpkins. It's This Way to the Pumpkin Patch, and it's got like a little like pillow pincushion small that you can make that has like little felted wool on it. Love that. And then this is Lori Holt's Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat. And Fat Quarter Shop had taken this design and turned it into a little stitch bag that has like a quilt block on the back of the bag. So I'm probably going to do this in like ombre, purple, or pink to sort of go with my Love Your Stitching one that I showed earlier. I think that's it, y'all, for my first video. It's right at 30 minutes. Okay, so I told y'all about the quilt show. I showed you the previous stitch that ruined my eyesight. I showed you my current works in progress. And my haul. Oh, I forgot this too. They, Fat Quarter Shop also had a little sale a while back on these little notions, these little sew line notions. So I got some marking tools. I'm always looking for like the best thing to mark. What I've been using lately is this hair marker. It just puts like a little crease in the fabric, and you don't have to worry about, you know, is this ink gonna come out, that sort of thing. So, and I like to use, sometimes I'll use masking tape to, if I'm just doing like 1/4 inch, you know, away lines. But I don't know, lately what I have is not sticking real well, so I feel like I can only use it once and then I have to throw it away, and I don't know, I don't like that. So, yeah, I think that's it. Okay, bye y'all.